We good? Okay. I apologize. I don't know what's up with my internet. That was a combination of both Facebook and the internet getting all funky. So, I'm going to wait a moment to get everyone back. Hello! I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna leave a comment and let them know I've started another one. Oh, that sucks. There was a good 25 people in there. That was amazing. Just started a part 2, everyone. Sorry about that. Hopefully this will continue. And it won't mess up again. That's super booty. Okay. Yay. I'm glad you guys are loving it so far. I'm enjoying teaching it too. Facebook trying to put a damper on everybody's parade. Bad Facebook. Okay. So did anybody have any other questions about the Saturn line? Did everybody have everything? No, I apologize. It's a combination of Facebook being stupid and my internet decided to dip down to like 0.2 for speed. Who knows? The phone company is going to be getting a very nasty call from me afterwards. We will be fine. We will get this done. What were the gods and goddesses associated with it? Yes, Saturn and Kronos. We will be going over goddesses in a second. They have their own special parts of the hand. So they don't get to share with the gods. They have their own particular part because they're powerful. Show where the line starts again, please. Yes. It will start normally down here towards the wrist, but it can start further up. So it just depends on the person. Yes. Yes, we're all good. I promise we're all good. Let me get comments up again. And we're not going to worry about that. Next one. As you can guess, we're going from one side to the other for our hand. We're going to go to our Apollo finger now. So, Apollo, think of the god Apollo, who is the same name for both the Greeks and the Romans. Twin brother to Artemis. He rides across the sky in his chariot and delivers the sun from one coast to the other. He's the god of the sun. He's also a god of medicine and a god of the arts and creativity, specifically art and music. And dance, not so much writing. Writing is the pinky finger. But everything else creative is Apollo. So, if you have a destiny line going up to your ring finger, also the marriage finger, then your god is Apollo. And that means you also might have a very close relationship with Artemis, as they are twins. So, those that are adept at art and expression through themselves, they would have Apollo lines, okay? And also our healers in this group, our Reiki practitioners, you may have a line going up to Apollo because he is a god of medicine. Fun fact, ancient Greeks and Romans that were doctors used to stir their medicine with their ring finger because they thought that it was being blessed by the god Apollo. Fun fact. So there are more specific marks for people who are healers, but that is a very good indication of your spiritual healing business going very, very well if you have a line towards Apollo. Yes, it makes sense for you too, Susan. That fits your personality. Let's see. So, and you might also, for example, be very good at interior decorating. So people who are into feng shui may really have a destiny line towards Apollo. Just very creative with your work. If you like to do automatic drawing, it'll go towards this finger. Things like that. And then moving along, if you have a destiny line going towards your pinky, okay, that is Mercury or Hermes. He is the messenger of the gods. We normally see him with his little winged sandals, and he's jutting off to places. So, he is all about speed and communication. Think of the planet. Every time we have a Mercury retrograde, what are you mad about? It deals with your pinky finger. But people with a destiny line that goes to this finger wouldn't have as big of a problem. Okay, so those also that are really good with words, comedians, writers. If you're a very good writer, enjoy automatic writing. Michelle, you probably have a destiny line towards the pinky. Things like that. You will be very gifted in writing, and you will be very gifted with with Mercury. Also, think of it this way as well. The more towards your thumb and your pointer finger you are, the more direct of a person you are. The more towards the other side that's karate choppable, you're more passive. Okay, and that'll play up with other parts of your hand as well, because that's literally a passive side of your hand and a dominant side of your hand. Amanda asks, what if we have a faint line that juts off our main destiny line? That's a very good question. That means you have an inclination towards another area. Okay, so for example, if you pay attention to my destiny line, like I said, it starts here, and you can see it going up this way, right? You can see it going up there. That's because I was in theater. I was very good with my words. I was a singer. I'm operatically trained. I'm a writer. I have published works. So for a good portion of my life, I thought I was going to be taking the writing artistic route. So it would have ended up under these two fingers. Then I switched it to using that expertise into a business for spiritual purposes. So now I'm underneath my Saturn finger. So that just means you have an inclination towards another one. It could be very faint, like a little babbling brook that sometimes you go ahead and meander this way, but you really have a waterfall going the other direction. You're really going head first at a different spot. So that's why. Let's see, I skipped other questions. Elizabeth says, just realized it's beginning to manifest that way on my right hand too. Yeah, and it's funny. This is why when you start palmistry, they recommend look at your right hand in the morning, okay, before you start your day, like taking your daily tarot card draw or oracle card draw. Look at this in the morning, and then look at your non-dominant hand at night, because the things that have transpired throughout your day will then be inscribed into your life path. Okay, so you can actively see things changing on this hand that will then transcribe into the other one. That's how come also your destiny line might be different on this hand, because for the longest time you might have been going in a different direction, but in turn then you'll see it jut, or then you'll see it move in a different spot. Okay, fun facts. Mimi, I have a very pronounced line to Mercury, but there are large breaks in it. So what that would mean, if you have a destiny line that has breaks in it, you know where you want to end up, but you're not sure of all the steps to get there. So for example, if let's say you want to end up having a brick and mortar store at some point where you do readings or you do healings, but you're not sure A to Z how to get there, you can flesh out that store in your mind, and you can pick out the plot, and you can get the inventory and all that stuff, but you don't have anything else in between. There will be lines that are missing. There will be a chunk of it missing, okay? So that would be what it means. Lisa says, mine starts out heading for Jupiter, is now beelining for Mercury. So maybe you wanted to be a prominent figure, and then now you want to be more passive in the background. So I would say there's an imbalance there. What if forks? That's one of the little signs. So remember when I was talking about shapes on your hands? One of the signs is a trident, or it forks and it goes three ways. To me, it looks like a split end on a hair, or it looks like a piece of wheat that is going in a couple directions. It's called a trident, but it doesn't look like a trident to me. What that would mean is that you have some difficulties in your path, but you have the power to overcome them. Okay, they're not too difficult to overcome. The more of the splitting off that you see, the harder it's going to be for you to move past it. And you may need to meditate and take a break and things like that. That's a wonderful question, Leticia. Hello, by the way. Amanda, mine's totally opposite of yours. The heavy line towards the middle finger and faint line toward pinky. Yeah, it can do that. It can do that. Kai, I studied law in college. Makes sense for an air hand. So it's really interesting that my line is near the Zeus finger. I love that my poli-sci is still in my hand because you most likely still use it. You still use your illness advocacy business in that kind of way. And just because you have part of what we learn and what is in our mind and on our hands is part of who we are. That's another reason why I'm a big advocate for our business and our businesses and our spiritual practices, including a lot of research and delving into what we personally believe and what we study, because it will transcribe not only on your hand, but in how you deal with your business and how you deal with your everyday life. So that makes a lot of sense for you, Kai. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm like, as soon as you learn palmistry, everybody's your fan. I use it on the hotlines all the time because there are signs for love. And boy, trust, super quick. All I gotta do is look at the hand for 2 seconds. I love it so much. Kai says, yes, it's so cool. I use the law even in shadow work because it's both aspects. Exactly. It's totally you. Ah, there's Alina here. You're supposed to be sleeping, girly, but I'm glad you came. Okay, so we talked about other signs from the gods. They can be discoloration. They can be different shapes, things like that. So, some things to keep in mind. There are other gods and deities on your hands. So, for example, our goddesses aren't going to show up with lines. They're going to show up with the dots that I mentioned. So, everybody look at your thumb. Okay? So, our thumb is actually split into 3 parts. I'll get a little closer, you can see. So where the first bend is, where it bends here, and then the rest of this side of your lifeline, okay? So they're so amazing, they have to take up 1 finger because we have so much goddess energy within ourselves. They also take up this part of our hand. That's a different goddess though. So Rhea, wife to Zeus, rules the very top. She deals with willpower. So, if the whole idea of this is we have logic versus will when it comes to our thumbs. If our logic side or a logic portion of our thumb is bigger than the will portion, you think things through a lot longer than it will take for you to act on them. If your willpower is bigger than your logic side, you act too quickly, or you act after only thinking about action very shortly. It doesn't take much for you to do things, you know. Catherine, mine is covered in candied sugar. You can look at it later. But those are your 2 sections. So if you have red or pink dots on your thumb, okay, and it can be anywhere on your thumb, even on the back. Or if you get those white or red dots on your thumbnail, Rhea is trying to talk to you. Goddess of motherhood and marriage. She likes commitment in a majority of the stories where Zeus goes off and cheats on her. She's usually behind cursing the woman, okay? She is very much logical on we need to be together, and that is how it should be. So, underneath it, we have logic. So that is all Athena. So if we think of Athena, according to mythology, she wasn't born by Rhea. She was born from Zeus. He literally pulled her out of his forehead. And boom, there's Athena. She is pure logic. She is justice when it comes to tarot cards. So she is, if you have dots all along this part of your thumb, then Athena is trying to talk to you. Very, very simple. Underneath, this entire section of your hand, where majority of the time we'll see stress lines, we'll see discoloration, especially with people on the hotlines that are really stressed out in their love life, because this is ruled by Aphrodite. This is the Mount of Venus. So anything having to do with love, if you are really into doing love readings and soulmate readings and twin flames and anything to have to do with that, this is the area that you will see messages from Aphrodite or messages from Venus, if you like the Roman version better. Yeah, there's a lot of information. That's why I made everybody an amazing 25-page plus workbook where you don't have to remember any of it. You can just look at it. You can just take a look. Sorry for the overwhelming. That's why I'm like, give me questions. I love yummy questions. Let me know if I'm overwhelming you. And then, of course, the other goddess I mentioned is the other half of the bottom of your hand, which is Luna. So Psyche. So our psychic abilities are over here. Our intuition is over here. Things like that. So, yeah, and we aren't even done, you know? Like, there is so much in this workbook. I go over all the other gods. I go over Mars or Aries. I go over Neptune or Pluto. There is a sign on your hand for Hades. Everything like that. So, what if you don't like the god or deity based off of their Roman or Greek name? What if you don't like them? That's totally okay, because I can understand that. Sometimes you don't resonate with a pantheon. So for this, for example, if you're not a fan of Zeus, I really recommend you looking into other mythologies and other systems and researching. A journal and research is my students can tell you that's my big #1 thing, is go write it down. Go research it. So Zeus can correspond, for example, with the Mayan god Chak. He is master of thunder and rain, okay? And he's got a big axe, and he's lightning. He's everything like that. And he has all the personifications of Zeus, but he's Mayan. So if you want to look into Mayan and Aztec culture, and that really speaks to you and your ancestry and your beliefs, go take a look at it. You could, if you don't care for Hades, for example, and you have really strong Hades marks and Pluto marks on you, then why not take a look at the Norse goddess Hel? Okay, she's very similar, where Hades guides people to the Elysian fields and down into the depths of Hades, into the underworld. So does Hel. She takes people to Valhalla, and then she takes people to Hell. Things like that, you know? Or, for example, I don't resonate with Rhea, but my patron goddess is Modron. That's why my main business is Modron Lotus Garden. She's the Welsh goddess of motherhood. That's my goddess. So I don't resonate with Rhea, but I do resonate with a very different motherly goddess. So make it your own. Do your research, figure out what resonates with you. So and don't limit it to just what other people believe about religions. I work with Hindu gods, pagan gods, Taoism, Roman, Egyptian, literally all kinds of mythologies. Fill up on your stories and your folklore, because they're going to tell you so much about these different deities, because they're like people, only ethereal, and they create things and they're masters of things. Yes, Rhea, that spelling is correct. Yes, same as Hera. You're on point, Amanda. So, and sometimes, keep this in mind, gods will approach you. Deities will approach you. I have seen instances, for example, my husband. He's a Viking and he doesn't want to admit it, but he used to get approached with ravens all the time, and he really resonates with the Norse mythology, so he's like, Odin, are you trying to talk to me? Which is another alternative for Zeus if people are into Norse. And then he would have dreams about Fenrir. If you're into your Norse mythology, Fenrir brings about Ragnarok. Okay, so, which he loves Fenrir anyway, and then he had stuff with Loki. So he had a couple of different deities coming forward to him, wanting to talk to him about it, and wanting to, you know, have him be their warrior. So it really depends. Sometimes they'll reach out to you if they feel that you need that extra push, and they will show up through their familiars. They'll show up in dreams majority of the time from what I've seen, but sometimes you will see everyday occurrences and signs. So keep an eye out, and again, write it down. if you see it. What else? So, okay, also, once you find your deity, introduce yourself. And I don't mean just say, hey, what's up? You know, you're my buddy, I'm gonna summon you when I want to, and we're gonna sit here and we're gonna have coffee. Not so much that. That's different. It's different with deities and thought forms and spirits and things like that than it is with people. So, what I really recommend is, again, doing your research. But you can do this in really easy, everyday ways. So, for example, let's say you don't have time to build the altar, you're busy, you got kids, you still have a muggle job that you gotta go to, everything like that. So why not, first thing in the morning, just say, good morning. I hope you have a wonderful day. Know that I'll be thinking about you and I'm here as a loyal servant to you, or as a priestess or a priest for you. I just want to say good morning and I hope you have a great, energetic day. Okay, very simple, and you're honoring them. It's like a mini prayer. And then the same thing before you go to bed. Like, good night. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope today has been very blessed for you and you had wonderful offerings, things like that. Literally pray to them. Look up their mythology and see how people used to honor them. So, for example, Hestia or Vesta, depending on which name, again, Greek, Roman. Goddess of the hearth. I love her so very much. How they used to honor her would besides the child offerings, they would burn animals. And from her mythology, she would take the fat, she would take the meaty parts before distributing it to all the other gods. So offerings of fatty foods like fish and, the fatty parts of a pig, instead of throwing it away, if you're into meat, burn it instead as an offering to Hestia. The Norse, for example, they want you to eat the food in honor of them. They don't want you to leave the plate out and let the animals get it. They want you to eat it. So prepare a feast for one of your holidays that you like to celebrate and say, in the name of Odin, let us drink mead. Whatever you want to do. There is a specific Norse cookbook. I've seen a couple of them on Amazon. Feel free to look them up. They're super fun, and they give you Norse meals that you can do and to dine with the gods. One of my favorite goddesses is Chang'e, goddess of the moon. She's Taoist, she's Chinese. And all you need to do for her is make moon cakes to share with your family during the Mid-Autumn Festival, which celebrates her. Very simple. Besides that, just honor her, okay? You can make special altars. You can share some of your food with them if you're a part of that kind of pantheon that likes to do that. For example, you can also donate to certain causes. So let's say you have a deity of children. Donate to a children's cause. That will count as you honoring that deity, okay? And your deity will tell you on your hand what you want to go to. That's totally okay. Elizabeth says, I work with Renan a lot. She loves music, so I sing for her. That's a really wonderful offering. Yeah, if people have lines to Apollo, sing for him. He loves music, okay? If you choose to pick Dionysus as your god, make some wine and get drunk in the name of Dionysus and go watch a play. That's what he loved. He loved chaos and things like that. And the real important part is just to build a relationship, okay? Really work with these energies because they're very much, they're energies that are more human-like than a lot of people like to make deities and gods out to be. They just want to be acknowledged and they want to have that equal energy exchange back and forth. Susan had a wonderful question. So donating to a local shelter would work for Artemis and Apollo. Yes, or donating to a local pig farm, especially for Artemis because she has the Nemean boar and she spawned that for one of Hercules' trials. She's goddess of the hunt. So even if you choose to go out and hunt, or if you donate to a wildlife reserve, like up in Wyoming, that totally works. Apollo, it's really more donating to the arts. So if you have a local theater or a local children's choir, like the Colorado Springs Chorale, things like that, that will please Apollo. Or if you go to a museum and give a donation and you go look at the beautiful art. Amanda, and of course, just like my whole life, I have dots on so many goddess zones. I'll accept logic. Oh, so that's something you got to work on. Or school. Yeah, there's lots of ideas. Think outside the box with this, okay? Because even though we don't sit down and have these giant festivals for gods and goddesses anymore, doesn't mean we can't use them in our everyday. And again, it's easy everyday practices. Think about how they used to be worshipped. It wouldn't be out of everybody's day to talk to their deities and to honor them. They did it as a part of their natural routine. So pick something as a part of your natural routine and make it very easy for yourself. Okay? Be very easy on yourself. Is there anything else? So, like I said, as a gift for coming to this live, I'm giving everybody a workbook. It's a 25+ page workbook that comes with places for you to write in if you want to print it out. There's hand diagrams so you can see exactly where all of the lines go to. And I span a bunch of different deities for this. Also, there is, as a part of this, I do have a section for book recommendations, so I give you some palmistry ones, and I give you a long list, because I'm theater, of play scripts where you can read how the Greeks would honor the gods in their everyday life, because a lot of those plays showed people in their everyday life. So for example, if you want to see Aphrodite versus Artemis, read Hippolytus, even though he dies for 10 pages. If you want to see Aphrodite and Artemis, read Hippolytus. It's free online, just look it up. Oedipus Rex is a very popular one. I did include a comedy that gives a different version of Eddie that I actually saw in college. That was amazing. So feel free to take a look at that. And again, feel free to watch movies and go to the library and look at books and things, and it'll tell you so much about the gods. Read up on your pantheons and see how they compare to your hand. Learn more about the deity that's being pointed to you. So I also want to say that in the course itself, and because this is on Thinkific, so you have it, the replay for this will be posted after next week in the Thinkific course, so you will always have it at your disposal, both parts, since this was a two-parter. And there's some information. I'm coming out with a palmistry course in January. So be sure to take a look at it. I have a waiting list, and there's a link in the workbook for it and actually on the Thinkific thing for you. So just go ahead and sign up and you'll get all the info that you actually need for it. Does anybody have any questions? I know that was a lot of information. I give a lot of information like this because I believe in a lot of quality. Let's see, what the link you just posted is, if we have already in the Crone Academy, do we click I already have an account? No, this isn't in the Crone Academy yet, Amanda. That's a wonderful question. It'll give you the workbook, but I will be posting the live streams and the workbook also to the Academy. That is a wonderful question, though. If you want it now, though, it'll give it to you now. It's free, though, so you don't have to worry about anything. I know, I always give a lot. I give so much. I overwhelm everybody, but it's a workshop, so I want to make sure everybody has things to work on. How do you get the workbook? What you do is go ahead and click that link. I'm going to pin it after everything's done, and it'll take you to the Thinkific course where it's free, and all you do is pop in your email, your name, and everything, and it'll open it up for you. You can do it at your own pace. It is downloadable, and that's where you'll also see book recommendations. You'll see the replay when I put them up, and it's all good for you. You'll also get email notifications letting you know that you have things to watch or things to download and things like that. Awesome. Yay. Catherine, I need to stop with the candied ginger. I think my goddess Dionysus is similar. Most likely. Possibly. No problem. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful evening. This was so super, super, super fun. So I hope you have a great evening. I love you all. Bye.